trade! Chunky B, let me see your face. Omar, let me see your face. Kendall, stand up. It's week one. We need everybody out there moving. And we're going to start in New England, where Mike Vrabel is back. And we know it's all good. He's trying to replicate the energy of that coach who wore the hood. Now, everybody knew they once had the GOAT. But did you know they used to run all over teams from L.A. to Buffalo? So this season, they went to Ohio State. They grabbed this Buckeye. And now we got expectations that are raising sky high. So if you want to get on the hype train, you better get on, because I'm talking about my dude, this guy, Trayvon. We're on board.
We're on board. We're on board with TreVeyon Henderson. Even if some people on this show said they would draft him at the 1-2 turn and then didn't, we're still on board. Look, you heard earlier in the show with Kimmy offering no disrespect to Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he's still going to get opportunity, but you could tell they were sort of fading him at the end of last season. He was having ball security issues. They go and they get TreVeyon Henderson early in the draft for a reason. I think we're going to see him early and often. I'm really excited about putting him in lineups where I have him.
You know what? And I don't care what the numbers or anything says, rookies, expectation. It doesn't matter. We spent high draft capital on TreVeyon Henderson. There is no way I'm not going to cash in that ticket. There is no way I'm going to let anything keep me from getting on that trade. We are starting him all day and all night. But this is about the hype train. There are certain traditions in the hype train. You know, when we talk about the hype train, we're going to go and we're going to take, and sorry, I messed that up. It doesn't matter. The show's live. I'm rolling on. But listen, it's the hype train. You know what that means, y'all? That every time we got to take at least one trip down to Duval.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Duval.
Yeah, my bad.
Duval. Shout out Liam Cohen. Listen, but the new coach got offensive. He went out and got a Heisman Trophy winner, a guy that can play offense and defense, like somebody who can cook you breakfast and dinner. But listen, there is no disrespect, because there was another guy who can play. So don't forget about my guy, not BTE, but BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. I'm on board.
I am on board. Now, I have been on record as saying I think maybe the numbers come down a little bit, partially because, look, the Travis Hunter train is also running, and seats are filling up on that one quickly. But let's look at this objectively. This is going to be a pretty narrowly funneled passing game, right? The top two targets are going to be Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. I think there's room for both of them to eat. I don't know. I felt like he was being a little bit overdrafted, but I do think in the end he's going to be really productive this year.
Here's the thing. We talked about this. Now, week one, I think Travis Hunter is going to go out there and have a tremendous game. And you all are acting like, oh, he's the all. Okay, if Travis Hunter goes out there and feast, as we think that he's going to, that means you guys act like they're still going to keep cornerback twos and slot corners. No. They're going to roll all the coverage to Travis Hunter, which means they're going to allow Brian Thomas Jr. to go out there and kill it for the rest of the season. I love Brian Thomas Jr. Now, some of you don't sit right with me because you refuse to believe, but it's a new season. I'm going to give you a reprieve. There is a young quarterback whose expectations are mile high. I'll say it time and time again. This man has been my guy. But here's the thing. If you want to get on the train, you better move quick, because not only do I love him in fantasy, but they're also my Super Bowl pick. So some of you don't deserve this, because you know what? You didn't believe it. You were a no-show, but that's okay. I've got one more opportunity for you to join my guy, and I'm talking about Bo. Bo Nix, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back on.
This is the Bo Lever show of record. And I'll say this, Adam Rank was early on this hype train. He was on the train when, you could get your pick of any seat you wanted. He had the best window seat, watching the coast go by. And slowly, more of us started to get on board. We saw him really play well last year. He threw the ball effectively, but also ran the ball effectively, and everything you've heard this offseason about how much he has just grown within the context of this offense. So I loved the draft price. He was going around QB7, QB8. If you didn't want one of the elite guys, Bo Nix was there for you in around 6 or 7. So I was fully on board, and I think he's going to have another great season.
I hate to be one of these guys that walks around and be like, oh, yeah, I watched Blink 182 back when Scott Rayner was the drummer. But that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I've been on board with Bo Nix. Loved him when he was in college. He was a college contemporary of Justin Herbert. Yeah. I knew when he came into the NFL, matched up with Sean Payton, this is the guy that he wanted. This is the guy. This is the Drew Brees clone, and now we're sitting there, we're riding that hype train all the way through.